Welcome Group 3, thank you for tuning into your reading. So I've got the Star People book here, written by Brad and Francie Steger, I believe in the 1970s. It's an old book. If you can track it down, I would recommend reading it if you're interested in this sort of a topic. Yeah, it's a rare book, needless to say out of print, but I'm going to use this book to do a little book divination, okay? So with that being said, I do have your cards already pre-shuffled here. I'm going to meditate a moment for Group 3, the strongest collective energy that of everyone drawn to Group 3 regarding their gifts and their starseed origins. Spirit, show us what we need to see. As I was saying before, I haven't looked or read this book. I guess I haven't looked at or read this book in a really long time, just sitting there on my bookshelf. So I welcome the opportunity to do this reading for a lot of different reasons, and that's one of them. So to give depth and interest as well as more clarification and guidance to the reading, please, Spirit, which passage do we need for Group 3? This one. It says her autobiography, The Hunger of Eve, describes some of these profound personal experiences, but in correspondence to us, Barbara revealed the following. All right, I think we're going to use both of these passages. I recollect that somehow I chose a specific task which has taken me many years to identify. I have developed an evolutionary perspective based on several deep, expanded reality experiences in which I sense myself to be a witness to cosmic birth. I was both a part of it and witnessing it. Wow, that's pretty deep. The Hunger of Eve. Profound personal experiences. So are some of you going through profound personal experiences? Is that what has led you here to this reading? You're wanting to know about your origins, try to make sense of it. This is giving us some hints and clues about that and about some tasks that you have been, maybe you feel deep down inside that you need to accomplish, but maybe you haven't been able, like the book says, to identify that task or to reach it, to accomplish it. But there is this deeper sense of knowing that you have evolved and that there is more to you and to these experiences than meets the eye. And that you sense that you are meant to be a part of something big here, in this sense, a cosmic birth. Interesting. So we will refer back to that as I get into the reading to see how it resonates and what it's adding to the reading. But we're going to go ahead and get started now with the cards that I pulled for you guys. So the first card that came out for Group 3 is from the Work Your Light deck, The Initiation, Rite of Passage, Crossing the Threshold. And I can already see how it resonates. Can you see how it resonates? Crossing the threshold, moving from one world to the next. Cosmic birth. It's cosmic birth. You're both a part of it and witnessing it. Okay? So this is a new deck for me, so I did do a lot of referring to the book, and I like that because it gives me a chance to sort of learn as I provide you guys these free readings. And what this card talks about, like typically with initiation chambers, which is what this is supposed to be. The initiation chambers are scary looking on the outside, but then you get past that and they're breathtakingly beautiful on the inside, because you can see scariness, and then through there is like a light purple sky and beautiful blue water. So some of you are going through this, or you have gone through this, like in your origin here. Take it how it resonates, general reading. Take what applies and let the rest fly, but we'll see what else comes out in this. Some of you could be a little bit off-putting on the exterior, but you're really quite beautiful on the inside. I'm getting that as well. That's just an aside, and the rest of this is to do with, this is the sacred soul journey. It's basically what this card is representing. But first you have to be initiated and pass the test to earn your rite of passage. So I think that some of you are on varying levels of this initiation process. Some of you are closer to crossing the threshold than others, but you're probably being quite tested in your life. Some of you have gone through a lot, and it's gotten you to this point of where you can now sort of slay the dragon, face your demons, slay the dragon, win, get the treasure. Isn't that how the saying goes? So European dragons, not Chinese zodiac dragons, which is what I am. You couldn't slay me, but I'm just saying. Being silly, focusing in on this card. I'm also being overwhelmed by the fact that I'm seeing so many correspondences already, and we're only on the first card. And I was almost swamped by that in group 2. Group 1, started with group 1, through group 2, and now I'm getting all kinds of information. So with that being said, we're just going to continue on with this card. So the initiation process takes you over the threshold from the old way of being to a new way of being. And to do this, basically you have to face your fears. You have to put it all on the line. It's just like, go big or go home. It's putting it all on the line. You have to be willing to lose. You have to be willing to be wrong. You have to be willing to lose in order to gain the safety and security and the deeper meaning and the beauty of this other realm. In order to even begin to cross over into that better realm, you need to do all of those things. This is what it means to be an initiate. Initiate, I guess is how you would say it. So, bottom line, it's crossing from old way to new way to find more security and deeper meaning. So, I don't know if I already said it, but let me say it now. It is like a tower moment, especially with that lightning bolt coming down and the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith we see on the tower card, the lightning bolt coming down and taking out the tower. The tower was meant to fall. It was never meant to stand for the long test of time because it was built on a faulty foundation. And so it needed to be removed in order to be rebuilt correctly. And I'm not saying that you're incorrect in any way right now, but I am saying that there is better in store for you, Group 3. And if this is your reading, you probably resonate with a tower moment or something along this. Maybe your Saturn return, if you're like between 28 and 31, I think it is. That's pretty rough. And that can feel very much like a tower moment. If you're experiencing that, either way, it's like you are experiencing or have experienced a great loss, some sort of upheaval, some sort of hardship and grief. But again, it's through that your heart cracks open. That pressure was put on your heart to crack it open so that your soul can step forward and come through for you. And I know it. I mean, I'm not going to get into all the philosophical reasons why I think people align with that sort of learning curve, but for those who chose this group, you have aligned with that learning curve of being like that for you. But the good thing about it is that your soul is escaping from its like 8 of Swords little trap here. It's kind of the image that I'm getting, and it's going to come out for you. And when your soul takes the reins, you're just more yourself than you've ever been, and you're more who you came here to be than you ever been or ever would be had it not been for this experience or these experiences. So basically, the card is saying it's worth it. Okay, so we're gonna get into the specifics of like your ET origins, but this is part of it, and I feel like it's a very powerful part of it, especially for you, Group 3, because this card says that you're in the middle of this process now, and that you will get through it soon. It's similar to Group 2 in that sense. So if you were divided between 2 and 3, maybe watch 2 as well. But either way, you're getting through this, and it says that thing that some of us hate to hear when we're going through a tower moment or a Saturn return, and that is that, basically, you'll look back and be thankful to this experience or these experiences one day. Like, you will bless the thing that cracked you open, because the world needs you to be open, and that is what you came here to be. And you go somewhere sacred after you are cracked open, after your soul is set free and it takes the reins. It like drives that chariot someplace just sacred, some place that you want to be, that you're gonna feel like was worth all of the disruption, all of the despair, all of the struggle. So again, you are closer than you think, and when I first pulled this card, I immediately thought of Atreyu from the Neverending Story, you know, riding Falkor, the luck dragon. And he's happy and triumphant with his arms in the air, and it's because he has passed his own initiation. So if you were drawn to this, or drawn to that movie at all, or if that sounds interesting, it's an entertaining movie, it's a classic anyways. You know, I always suggest whenever I channel music, lyrics, quotes, or anything, movies, that you might check it out, you know, if you want to. So that's what I got, though. That's that feeling it's evoking, is victory and triumph after passing an initiation. And he does go through an initiation. It is him facing his inner demons, having to conquer his specific dragons, and they are specific to you. That's what makes it so tough. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side here, and so to get into your starseed origin specifically, we got the Agarthians, manifesting multidimensional perception and attunement. By the way, this is the Mystic Martians deck. I think I neglected to tell the previous two groups in case anybody was wondering. So some of your gifts are manifesting. Some of you are natural manifestors. Like, we are all natural manifestors, but we aren't all naturally good conscious manifestors. A lot of people are just manifesting by default. They have no control over what they're manifesting. They're reacting to the world by default. This card is saying that you are an excellent conscious manifestor, or you really have the potential to be, or maybe that is what this initiation process has been about. You're also multidimensional in your perception. Okay, so maybe you're aware of the, you know, infinite parallel realities, or you just have like this really great way of looking at things from multiple dimensions, and you're very perceptive in that way. And we've got attunement here, which talks about being attuned or aligned with higher vibration. Okay, so in terms of like who the Agarthans are, they're said to originally have been Atlantean, or from Atlantis, and Lemurian, and they're said to be like the survivors of the destructions there. Excuse me. And now they are multidimensional, very sophisticated, highly advanced beings living in the center of Hollow Earth. Okay, so if you know anything about Hollow Earth, I think that's pretty fascinating as well. Look up Admiral Byrd for more information on Hollow Earth and his experience. His story is pretty credible, as well as very interesting. Credible in the sense of who he is. Okay, so, and it's just, I mean, it's interesting if you want to know more, and this is resonating. So this is very nice energy, the Agarthans. Very nice energy. I like their energy a lot. It's very likable energy, okay, for me. Not that the previous two weren't. They were a little more complicated. This is a little bit more just good vibes, good vibrations, like the Beach Boys. And they're basically, they have like a divine crystalline citadel called, I think it was in the book, Telos or something like that. Telos. And it's underneath Mount Shasta, and you can look that up as well, because Mount Shasta is known for strange phenomena happening in and within and around it, and has been for centuries basically. And that's where they're said to reside, or underneath Mount Shasta. It is supposed to be their citadel. And you know, I imagine that the citadel, the way it was described, is looking like the last frame of The Dark Crystal, if you've ever watched that movie. The last frame of that, it's pretty magical. It's basically a crystalline tower. It's like a building that kind of looks like this, except more intricate. That is kind of what their citadel looks like. And when it comes to their civilization, you know, it is very serene. It is very abundant. And it is said to be, you know, just far superior to the surface civilizations by far. It's like no comparison. The food is incomparably nutritious as well. You could see, like, look at all the food and the greenery, and it's just like, it's the center of the earth. It's like all the good things are there. Very rich and nutritious. Also, they're said to live up to 900 years, you know, without ever looking a day over 40 in the flesh. So I want to go get tickets too. I want to get, like, where can I get tickets? Because I want to look under 40 my whole life. So especially at 900, that's what they're said to live to be. And naturally, you know, this type of ET from which you originate, group 3, you know, the Agarthans avoid the surface, you know, when they can help it. They're said to come sometimes up to the surface, but they avoid it when they can help it, because it's much harsher, like much. Like, I'm not even stuttering. That's like the truth. It's just so much harsher. Yeah. And we have toxins up here that they do not have down there. So, and they do, and because they're on Earth, right, and this is their home, they, you know, more so than some of the other ETs, are invested. Not saying the other ETs aren't, the benevolent ETs aren't invested in the ascension of Earth and Earth's consciousness, but Agarthans in particular, because this is their home and they live within it, right? So they don't want to see anything bad happen to it. They really look forward to the human ascension, which will positively impact all ET races, especially and including theirs. So they're also said to be the gatekeepers of the stargates, which stargates can't be entered until, interesting, initiates have ascended consciousness. So it's like you are on this path or journey to be an initiate, to ascend a consciousness, to go through the stargate, which is fascinating, because these are two cards from two different decks, and I'm not really familiar with either one of them. But like I said, you know, this one talks about ascending, you know, basically about them being gatekeepers of the stargates, which you can't enter until you're initiated, and then until you ascend consciousness. That's what this talks about. And then this one talks about the exact same thing. But this is just getting more specific with it. So if you ever have trouble like believing in the validity of what you see on my channel, like I told the previous two groups, buy yourself an oracle deck, a tarot deck, ask yourself, like ask each deck the same question, and then watch how they mirror and interplay with one another. Anybody can do this. It's just, that's why it's so much fun to do. So with that being said, what are your gifts? Imagination. Your gifts, group 3, you probably have a really good imagination, and you know, it's been said that an imagination is the creator, right? God is your own human imagination. Now, according to Neville Goddard, and you know, he dates back to, I think he was born in the early 1900s, and he peaked from the 20s to the 70s. So all about that. And he's got tons of work written on that. So you're like higher level evolved here, you know, and you're great at manifesting. You really can. Just think of something and it instantly manifests. Things are just aligning for you. If you're not doing that, I'd be surprised, because you really have this potential. Like, I feel like if this is your reading, that's something that you can really do easily. Maybe you don't look at it and call it manifesting or label it that way. There's something about the way you can make things happen in your life that feels effortless, and it's based on, like, you imagined it and it happened, like that kind of a thing. You call it synchronicities, you call it signs. It's really coming from you. You're creating that. And you're living your truth. Some of you are very in tune with who you are, and you're living your truth. Maybe you're also very, like, into eating healthy food, healthy environments. Maybe you're a very serene person, a relaxed person, like, or some of the other traits that I talked about the Agarthans having. Okay. And I think you got an extra card, or no, they all got two. Okay, so the next card that come out for you from the same deck is number 38, the third eye, visions, manifesting, meditation. So some of you, that's why you are so high vibrational. That's why you have been drawn to meditate, to manifest, or learn about these things, is because you are on the initiate's journey, okay? And this is more validation of the fact that you are such an excellent manifester, and that when you get those intuitive hits, those psychic hits, when you see the signs, when you experience synchronicities, those are gifts that you have acquired as a result of your origins, okay? And acquired as a result of applying some effort to some degree. I feel like it's depending on who's watching, how much effort you've actually put in terms of, like, trying to open your third eye or trying to visualize or manifest consciously, okay? Some of this is unconscious. Others of you, again, it's conscious. It's kind of like up in the air at this point. Who's who, really. So what we're seeing is, well, what is the third eye? For those that don't know, the third eye is the I am, or the higher eye, consciousness that travels through the cosmic doorway. It helps you to see other realms, to experience other realms. It is like a doorway through which you experience like out-of-body experiences, astral projection, or just sight, seeing things that give you knowledge that you would not otherwise be able to understand or know about or see had your third eye not been open. We all have one. In my opinions, the powers that be have done everything they can to keep it, calcified and shut down, because it gives you the gift of sight. Basically, it makes you much more aware. Okay. So it helps you to perceive things more richly, more fully, perceive other realms. The Akashic records, even, which is a record of everything that ever has been, everything. It's basically the God mind, the record of the God mind. Everything that has ever happened will happen and is happening, and everything you could ever want to know is in the Akashic records and other living information. That's what the third eye is for. So, like the epitome of somebody with an open third eye is, your clairvoyants, your seers, your remote viewers, who have developed the ability to see outside of the limited human frequency field, which I don't remember right off the top of my head what that field is, but the light frequency is really long, and human beings' eyes can see this much. So what's going on over here? You don't know. But people with open third eyes can expand their field of vision to see some of that other stuff. Okay? So it's fascinating. And like I said, this is where, like, for those of you who've had out-of-body experiences or anything like that, psychic intuitive flashes or hits, this is where it comes through your third eye. So, and I feel like some of you, because of the level that you're at, coming through as a Garthans, just your general energy, to be at the level of initiate, you probably have, like, worked on this, applied yourself to it. Meditate. How do you do that? Through meditation, through altered states of consciousness or altered states of awareness. This all activates the third eye, as well as theta frequencies. You can meditate to theta frequencies. You can find audios available that are theta frequencies, and other types of frequencies help with this as well. Your diet, the purer your diet is, the purer your pineal gland or your third eye will be, the healthier it will be, the better it will see. That too is probably one of the reasons that the Garthans are advanced in this area. But what it's basically for is to, allow your perception to transcend the dense 3D frequencies, like to see beneath the surface of things, to see the light in situations and where there needs to be light. So just basically about all extraterrestrials are highly evolved in using their third eye. And I feel like humans would be more evolved if not for certain agendas, but you seem to be transcending those boundaries regardless. So just keep doing whatever spiritual practices you're doing, if you're consciously doing them, or just know that this is a gift that you have, and it's probably become stronger as well. So other gifts with this card for you, group 3, like, do you have visions? Like, you're a good visualizer. Do you do that on purpose, or do you just find yourself daydreaming? Your daydreams are very rich and multifaceted, layered, or your dreams are very symbolic or layered. I find it hard to believe that you could fully resonate with this reading, anyways, fully, if you weren't a psychic or very, very intuitive. And this is the gift of initiation. You could be the one who initiates others, or helps identify those who are ready for initiation as well, to do the rite of passage, to cross the threshold to a more sacred realm. Okay? With that being said, I just think that's cool, because this is about initiation. Like, this is one of the gifts literally for this card, initiation, and then this came out previous. I pulled this card first, and it's called initiation. So validation, double validation there. This very first card that I pulled is, about initiation. So it's just another of your gifts is synchronicity. Okay. So let's look at the tarot cards for more about your starseed origins. And if the reading is resonating, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive notifications so you don't miss my next video. And if you'd like a private reading, my contact information is down below. Thank you to those of you who participated in the flash reading I did last week. It was, yeah, it was a hit. It was good. I appreciate you guys. So for Group 3, Starseed Origins, I chose to use the same deck that I used in Group 2 because, like I told Group 2, this is it's a new old stock. So it's basically a 35-year-old deck, but it smells brand new, and it resonated just like amazingly. That was the first time that I had used that deck. Well, the first time I used it was on Group 2, and the synchronicity was just off the chain. So I would think this is definitely, it's a magic deck. Let's put it that way. I'm going to have to stop treating it like the collector's item that it is and maybe use it a little bit more. But maybe I've used it. Have I used it one time? It's been so long. I can't remember if I have or not. I mean, you can tell, look at them. They're like crisp. So that being said, for your origins, we got the 8 of Pentacles. So somebody out there could be an earth sign or have it strong in their chart or behave that way. But more importantly, this is just a card talking about giving us more information. It's about more information about, you know, your starseed origin. So this is, for those who don't know, this is a card of finding hard work and yeah, you're somebody that, like, I mean, do you like to work hard, or you just like being diligent? There's something here about at least just knowing the value of that, and that it's important to accomplishing your goals. So this is just a card of that, you know, buckling down, studying, achieving new skills, you know, so that you can change your circumstances for the better. Just know that if you are in that energy, it comes from this initiation process that you've either completed or are needing to complete. In other lifetimes, I feel like you already have completed it, but there are different initiations for different realms. So you're on one of them. So what I feel like, how does this resonate with some of this other energy? The Lemurians, Atlanteans, aka Agarthans, they didn't just stumble upon their divinity, okay? And they didn't just stumble upon their divine crystalline world with their little crystal citadel and things like that, and where their food is magically pure, like almost magic, like seemingly magically pure. It's like their world is like magic. They didn't just stumble upon these advanced skills and technologies. They applied themselves to make it happen, and now they enjoy the fruits of their labors, like literally, through education, apprenticeship, and achievement. So maybe you're being initiated to come to Agartha. I just got that. Some of you could be being initiated for that. And the story of Admiral Byrd, who accidentally flew into Middle Earth while being, was he in the Navy, the Air Force, one of those, and he was doing something up there in the North Pole, accidentally flew in, and he was told by one of them that the only reason he was allowed to come in, because they don't need to let you in. It's not like some place that you could find if you wanted to. You're only allowed to come in if they say you can. And they let him come in because he was pure of heart, and he was had a heart of valor and all these other characteristics. And so, wow, those are some of the traits or gifts that you could have, Group 3, if you're being considered for initiation to this realm. Wow. Could you put in a good word for me? Put in a good word for me, would you? Because, yeah, I already said I want to look under 40 through the rest of my life and live for, well, I don't know if I want to live 900 years, but maybe in a paradise like that I would. So, yeah, education, apprenticeship, and achievement with this. They didn't just stumble upon this. And I find it's one of my pet peeves when people just assume that when somebody has attained a certain level of, whether it be enlightenment or accomplishment or success, that others, I mean, there's a little bit of pettiness or jealousy that I will tolerate in other people, because I know that's kind of like the human way. But when they go out of their way to try to hurt somebody because that person has accomplished a lot, or if they have a deep-seated resentment that I as an empath can pick up on, whether it's directed towards me or someone else, because that person has graduated to a level that they haven't, and that's one of my pet peeves, because you don't just get to be at this level without applying the effort and working on it, without making it happen, without applying effort to it, you know, without making it happen, without doing it, without learning, without going there, without showing up. And so people who haven't done that expect to be entitled to the same rewards and fruits of the labors that those who have done that are entitled to. And that's just nonsense to me. It's like a sixth grader begrudging, you know, a senior in high school because the senior in high school can like drive a car, or because the senior in high school is getting presents for their graduation ceremony, or because they've graduated and now they're leaving home, or like, you know what I mean? It's like they didn't just become a senior in high school for nothing, you know. They were an initiate. Gosh, that word's so hard for me. And they did the work, and they experienced their rites of passage, and they earned it, and they accomplished it, and they went through that door. They crossed that threshold, and you will too, you know, if you apply yourself. So what are you learning? Let's go on to that. Like, what is your starseed origin like teaching group 3? What is it teaching you? We've got the 5 of Wands. Okay. So that's interesting that, yeah, okay. Maybe I, on some level, remembered that that was here. But that's what I was talking about, my pet peeve. Because this is a card of pettiness, the 5 of Wands. Competition, conflict, rivalry. It's a battle between rivals. But what I essentially feel like it is the testing of your mettle, to see what you're made of. So this rite of passage, it might seem intimidating at first. And these rivals that might be getting in the way or trying to stop you from achieving this rite of passage, from accomplishing it, you know, they might seem intimidating at first, but this is the card of someone's bite being, you know, bigger, or rather somebody's bark, somebody's bark being bigger than their bite. So I feel like somebody is just puffer fishing as a show of power here. You know how they say, like, if you see a mountain lion out in nature, if you're on a nature walk, you see a mountain lion out in nature, and you're supposed to get up on your, you know, you're supposed to stretch and put your arms up and make yourself seem and look as big as you can, just like, because that'll supposedly scare them off. I feel like that's what somebody in your life is doing, or circumstances. If it's not an individual or a group of individuals, its circumstances are doing this to you. It's part of the rite of passage. You have to defeat the dragon in order to get the treasure. And it's interesting because he's actually got his arms extended and his legs extended, and he's making himself bigger, like to try to pufferfish, basically, because pufferfishes expand in order to protect themselves and by scaring, you know, the attacker away. So what is the big message from Spirit, like the outcome of the reading for group 3 regarding their starseed gifts and origin? What do we need to know? We've got the Temperance card. So it's a beautiful card to come in after the 5 of Wands, because what that's basically saying is the Spirit wants you to embody your origins. Your origins with the Garthans, they're already like harmonious. They're already serene. They're already in command. They're already adept at manifesting what they want. Once you have that skill, once you have this perception, once you are in their energy, the energy from which you came, you have nothing to fear. And there's no reason to engage in ego battles. There is no reason to feel anything but good, and feeling good is what facilitates manifestation anyway. Feeling good is what helps your desires come to you faster anyway. So that's what the Temperance card is about. It's about being who you are at your core. Being that starseed that you are. Taking the middle path, being patient, finding the meaning in things. You already have this insight. You can see beneath the surface of things. So even though someone might look like a dragon, you know, it might be an illusion, or a situation might look like it's daunting, but it could be like an illusion, not what it seems. Keep developing your third eye so that can help you to see past these things, to know when something's a serious threat versus when it's not. And You know, just like in, yeah, any kind of story that you see or hear about rites of passage, it's often just an illusion. The thing that they have to beat, it's their own fear. It's themselves, and in the illusion of fear. Okay, so basically, Spirit's wanting you to, you know, find balance in a life, and saying that, like, finding balance in life allows you to sort of attain a certain sense of calm, sense of serenity. When it comes to the external world, 3D, you know, you adapt, cooperate, and mediate. So that's what they're wanting you to do. It's like, even though you are, you have access to other realms, and that you're an initiate into another realm, and a place of sanctity, and you're headed in that direction, and saying, in the present moment, in the 3D, adapt, cooperate, and mediate. Okay, so don't get caught up in the drama of life. Pendulums, cooler heads prevail. They really do. And a pendulum is something that, basically, it's any sort of drama that you see, like, for instance, this Johnny Depp Amber Heard drama, right? Or anything that the media pushes on you to sensationalize and get your focus and get your energy. They want to divide you so that whether you're on the side of the good or the side of the bad, either way, it creates a pendulum. And the more emphasis or focus that you put on that drama, the more power it gets. Like, the further it swings and the stronger it is. It's like, nah. It's just like, pour one side into the next, combine them together, no polarity. Instead, just don't get caught up in the drama of life. Don't get caught up in other people's dramas, and don't let them sort of like punk you out or make you afraid of your own power, your own skills, abilities, or the path that you're on, and the fact that you are ready for this, like, you can do this, and that you're headed to bigger and better things. And that's from where you come from anyways. And you came here to bring some of that serenity, you know, to the surface. Okay. So yeah, just go back to the Starseed book, that excerpt that came up for you, that we landed on. You know, I recollected that someone, I've been talking way too much today. I recollected that somehow I chose a specific task which has taken me many years to identify. I have developed an evolutionary perspective, how you see things, evolved, based on several deep expanded reality experiences, being able to see multi-dimensions, the other realms, the truth about other realms, things from different perspectives, in which I sense myself to be a witness to cosmic birth. I was both part of it and witnessing it. Quantum physics tells us that whatever you observe or whatever you perceive, you affect. That something is affected by that which is perceiving it. Okay, and I think I've talked about this before, the double slit experience or experiment, things like that. When you focus on something, you become one with it. You are one with it, everything, okay? So I think that the way to, just basically the way to accomplish your goals, to win the battle, is to be the change that you want to see in the world, basically. It sounds cliche, but it is true. It's just simply, you know, these sayings that last for decades and centuries last for a reason, because they make sense. They have sacred truths to them. And by following this sacred truth, you know, you are headed to sanctity. And just by being here and witnessing and applying, you're helping to create the raising consciousness that that your origins are looking forward to. That's why you're up here. So you're not here to shy away from saying the truth. You're not here to get sucked into drama or pendulums. You are here to create a new earth. Okay, so what I got for you guys. Yeah, you can create it through, how do you create that new earth? Through your perceptions. Through just simply seeing it and being aware of what you're manifesting, the power of your thoughts and the power of your imagination, and focusing on balance and serenity instead of drama. Whatever you focus on, you create. And the Agarthans want to be able to, see humans enjoying the luxuries that they're able to enjoy. And they don't want there to be a threat to this planet. They want us to get our act together. And you're part of that mission. You are initiated to help create a new earth. And you do it with your thoughts. Group 3, I run long on you. I always do. I almost forgot your oracle cards. Let's get those out real quick here. We've got it's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. Yeah, get off the pendulums. Don't get sucked into the drama. Don't let people, your reactions have power. And they perpetuate or create more of the same of whatever you're reacting to. So if you don't like something, you need to work on staying serene, seeing through the illusion of fear so that you don't perpetuate or create more of it. So release negativity. Then we've got Freya, phases and cycles. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Yeah. So basically going back to the gateways and the crossing the threshold. When something looks like it's ending, it's not, it's just the beginning of something else. And you are, you are releasing and even exposing or revealing illusions, which is part of what it takes to ascend and to help others ascend. You do that for others and for yourself. Then we've got Krishna, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. So yeah, you're considered a devotee to this, and at least your soul is. Where you originate from, and, is a race of people who are devoted to following their spiritual guidance. Being a light for others to follow spiritual guidance, providing that spiritual guidance for others, and being committed. And you are used to being loved and loving unconditionally. And what you're doing here on the surface is to bring that energy, to those who need it most. That's what I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you guys next time.